John chapter 3, verse 20, and I want to show you a little bit of an issue. It doesn't appear to be an issue at first, but I think there's an issue happening in these two verses that often gets overlooked. John 3:20, for everyone practicing evil hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. That seems pretty straightforward, right? Everyone who's practicing evil, and you can run through a list right now in your head of all the evil practices, and you could spend all night long jotting down all of the things that you think are evil, and then put them right here in this verse. Everyone that practices these, by default, they hate light, they won't come to the light, and the reason they won't come to the light is why? Based upon this verse, why won't they come to the light? Because they don't want all the evil they've been doing to be shown up in the light. All right, pretty straightforward text. Then verse 21, but he who does the truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in Christ. And I present to you that this one is slightly less straightforward. He who does the truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they've been done in God. He who does what? The truth. Can we go back to verse 20 real quick? I just want to make sure that we get the comparison properly. Verse 20. Everyone practicing evil hates the light and doesn't come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. 21. But he who does the truth comes to the light. Whenever you're setting something up and then giving the opposite of it, it helps if you give the actual opposite of it, right? What's the opposite of turning left? It would be to turn right. It's not backwards. If I say to you, give me the opposite of turning left, you don't go backwards. That's not your first thought. Now, it is actually not turning left. But it's not what you think. It should be go right. I mean, we don't have to make this hard. It's as simple as it sounds. No, don't go left, go right. Why does Jesus not say, everyone practicing evil hates the light? That's 20. Why does he then not say, but he who practices the good comes to the light? Why does he switch it between verse 20 and verse 21? And why is 21 not straightforward? Because it would be straightforward if he said, he who does the good comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they've been done in God. But because he's ambiguous about truth in this passage, because he doesn't really land on what truth is, and we wish that he just said do the good, because that would make sense based upon the previous verse, which was do the evil. If you do evil, you live in darkness, you don't want to come to the light because you don't want people to see your evil. But if you do the truth, then you come to the light, and here's where it gets real funky. You do the truth, you come to the light so that what you're doing may be clearly seen, that what you're doing has been done in God. What are you doing in verse 21? This is not a trick question. I'm just asking you to look at the text. What is it that you're doing in verse 21? The truth. That your deeds may be clearly seen, that they've been done in God. What deeds? Good deeds? If you threw in good deeds, you threw it in. And you threw it in because if you don't turn left, you should turn. So what you heard in verse 20 was, if a man does evil, he hates the light. Then you get to 21, Jesus doesn't say anything about good. Instead, he talks about truth. And he says the truth is the man who brings what he does into the light so that it may be seen that what he does in God. I want to make a proposition to you that I am not yet ready to qualify to you. We're going to work on it, all right? I love that. Put it out there. That way, if you hate it, you can stop watching the sermon now. If you're intrigued, you keep going, you get to the end, you go, okay, I see what he did there. My proposition to you is this. What about the possibility that Jesus says everyone practicing evil hates the light? He doesn't want to come to the light because he knows his deeds were evil. But the same guy with those same evil deeds could do the truth and bring those deeds. What deeds? Those evil deeds. And walk those evil deeds into the light. And then he could see that those evil deeds are in God. And if that proposition holds water, and we're going to try to see if it does, then the truth isn't a doctrine merely. The truth isn't a person merely. The truth is opposite of what you think it is. Don't turn left, turn. If you don't tell the truth, then you told a. Now you landed there easily, right? You didn't even need prodded. It just slipped right out, because what's the opposite of truth? The lie. So when Jesus says, do the truth in John 3:21, what's the guy been doing? His evil deeds, but they've been a lie to somebody. It's time he starts to do the truth. And by doing the truth, did his deeds change? He still did the deeds of verse 20. He just stopped doing them in the dark. And he walked who he really is to the front of the verse so that he could see what God sees, that everything he does in the light of God already. And if that's the case, then truth takes on a brand new and powerful meaning tonight. Will you take the journey with me?